Didn't the board rep's office used to be in the docking bays?
Yeah, about 10 years back. That was before Bedford negotiated for a bigger office on the promenade.
Must be good at his job.
Better than the last.
Seeking relief from the heat? Till June Lay gets those radiators. Stellar Bay proper? Tough to say. The board recalled all the nav keys about 10 years back when the corpse pulled back to Terra 2. It's overrun with beasts, I heard. Big ones. Kinda chew your face off for fun. Might all be board propaganda, though. If you're aiming to get to Stellar Bay, you're gonna have to get your hands dirty. The board don't like them that truck with Monarch. But I ain't the one you ought to be asking. Try Gladys on the promenade. She'll fix you up. Some big shot down in Byzantium's holding auditions for a new adventure serial. So... The radiators, they're fucked 10 ways to Sunday. And we're all sweating buckets wondering when the powers that be are gonna get around to fixing it. Couldn't say, and I wouldn't be pouring drinks professionally if I could. All I know is we're cooking in our own juices here, and it's only gonna get worse. Engineering. Chief Junlei Tennyson, to be precise. She runs this heap. Best she can, anyway. Don't know what's got her dragging her heels, but I wish she'd hurry it up. That's not for me to say. But if you're feeling the urge toward helpfulness, you can find Chief Junlei in engineering. There's nobody who knows more about the station's guts. She doesn't come around here. Nothing you need and everything. What do you recommend?
How about a bumblebee tail?
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement.
How do you do? And welcome to the Rest and Go. We used to be the Go and Rest, but folks never knew when to leave. Sorry. Business has been slow. Of course, most of our supplies come and go through merchants. I try and... Fine, as long as the board... Chief Tenant... Our Chief Tennyson has an independent streak, same as her... There's a reason... Our local garbage collectors. That Lilia Hagen never met a debris field She freely admits she planted her... Oh, you can't miss her, right behind you.
Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. Tossball finals are scheduled to air soon, but a scandal has thrown this pivotal game into question. Both teams have tested negative for performance-enhancing stims. A tossball first. Coaches and referees are debating how and if this behavior could lead to an unfair advantage.
Don't look funny at the crew. Heard they toss folks out the air.
Now, see here, what was I doing again?
Hey,
Mess with Gladys, you mess with us.
Bless my heart. A stranger come knocking on a porch. You here for a particular reason? Or did the neighbors tell you how? Those have been the height of illegality since Stellar Bay turned their noses up at the board. You and I could be thrown to the void just for discussing such a transaction. Lucky for us, Groundbreaker's a free port. We're outside of the board's control. For the time being, at least. Now, I only have the one nav key. And they're hard to come by these days. It won't be cheap. If you find yourself lacking in the bits, I'm... You've certainly been blessed with an abundance of sass, haven't you? But it's your interstellar... Well, I find I'm in need of a ship captain with a little moral flexibility. Might be this could help out the Groundbreaker, as well as earn some bits. But if you've got qualms... Might want to acquaint yourself with Junlei Tennyson, Groundbreaker's chief. She's been trying to get a handle on this heat problem we've got. You'll find her fretting in engineering. I'd say she's a sweet girl, but law forfend someone call me a liar. Yes, dearie? Ain't that just a treat? So, you know Edna, over in engineering? On occasion, she'll pass... She sent me a recording of a distress signal she'd scraped from the Groundbreaker. Curious thing is, it came from an outpost called Roseway. And Auntie Cleo abandoned... You've got an ear for intrigue and a nose for bits. I like that. Here's a copy of the SOS recording, complete with the coordinates. If you should find a secret worth selling, might be I could find a buyer. Corporate bigwigs will pay top bit for... The more we got the corps fighting each other, the less time they got to meddle in our affairs. Don't forget to come find old Gladys when you're done. I found a handsome ceramic mandapillar at a salvage auction last week. If you're here for this week's magazine club meeting, you're a touch late. What do you want, then? My hard-earned wisdom? That's right. Though the board can't abide the community. They've all... But it... Go right ahead, sweetheart. Ask the common folk, and... Because that... I think they... Those board folk are real... But old Gladys knows the score. That's why we gotta keep them from getting their grubby mitts on Probably. Every once in a while, we get these snippets of radio. Claims he's transmitting from Monarch. Groundbreaker's radiators. Beneath... Miss Junley's supposed to be getting them fixed. The board can't abide a community that won't bend to... They've always got one scheme or another running, looking for ways... But it won't work. No, sir. Groundbreaker's free till the day she... Oh, a little of this, a little of that. I buy and sell items that require discretion to dispose of. Knickknacks. Curios. I also knit throw pillows stuffed with the hair of famous tossball.
What about non-famous players? I earned quite a reputation as a fifth-back during my penitentiary... seminary days.
You do have a favorable mop, I must say. But that's not what you wanted to talk about, is it, dear? Anytime, sweetheart. You know where to find me. Here, take a candy with you. Great law, is it hot in here? Won a charming copper kettle off that girl. It's almost time. I've got a lovely little throw pillow. Great law! I found a handsome ceramic mandapillar at a salvage auction last week. If you're here for this week's magazine club meet, I've got a lovely little throw.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt. Your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. Tossball finals are scheduled to air soon.
Sorry about the heat. Chief Tennyson will get the radiators fixed soon. Of course, this heat sure makes a zero-G brew extra refreshing. It's an ale that's good for what ails you. Oh, and it's not the best choice, it's Spacer's choice. Taste the freedom. A lot of slogans to keep track of. I'm bound to satisfy headgear-related inquiries. Please send any complaints to our consumer. You would never ask if you knew what it's like in here. I mean, why, anyone can be a Spacer's Choice Consumer Relations Choice Specialist. Just... Oh, I'm having a stellar day. Not just because I'm legally obligated to say so. I can see all of the top quality merchandise in the Spacer's Choice catalog. Spacer's Choice regrets that we don't sell toothpaste at this time, but we're always... Sprout Wash, Mouthwash, and Mantafloss are among the exciting... Don't miss out on these deals. Trouble sleeping? Try our Lunar Eclipse Mix. That's 2 handfuls of pep pills washed down. The blast will send you through the stratosphere and the crash will knock you. Add an additional 10% to your purchase today and the proceeds will be donated to Spacer Cares. At Spacer's Choice, we care about your health and... Even if my contract didn't forbid it, I think it's part of me now. Now, are you ready to make Spacer's Choice Lunar Green Moonmouth laws? Damn it. No slogan for that one. Look, this hat, my job, it may not... If there are self-made purgatories, then we all have to live in them. Mine can be no worse than someone else's. Now, if we're done with the chit-chat, I hope you don't mind if I make the most of this short life and try to be the best moon person I can be. It's fine. I should be... Speaking of interest, can I interest you in some quality... Heard of it? My orientation aether wave showed that famous Saltuna cannery. which I'm sure smells as good as it looks.
That's true.
That's a spacious choice, Spirit. Take what you have, polish it up, and make the best. So, what can I get you? Some soap? Have a look.
By verity, by strength. What are we contemplating today? Nothing too out of the ordinary. Just your run-of-the-mill vicar with a violently enthusiastic disposition. That's what my parents called it. I grew up in a pit of a town, much like Edgewater. I was destined to be a laborer like my parents, but I was infected early with a need to solve the equation. My passion didn't sit well with them. My parents, ironically. I envied that. I wanted that peace. I thought if I became a vicar, I could find it. Or at the very least, find out why I lacked it. They thought I was fighting the plan, should have accepted my lot. Some people pursue the clergy for power, prestige, but that was not me. It can be, if abused, but that can be said about anything. However, in the case of the Board and Halcyon, sadly, I believe you are correct. I have run headlong into too many walls in my pursuit of the truth. This book is my last hope, and you were my only hope of getting it translated. I honestly don't know what I'd do. This quest has consumed me for the better part of my life. I fear there's nothing else left to me. What about you? What's your story? And how did he do that? Well, you do seem different than every other colonist. Let's pretend for the moment I believe you. What are you going to do now? That seems a dangerous proposition. Why risk your life now that it's been returned to you? Oh, I see. You have my condolences.
I know she's in there. You can't get me out of there.
Please don't make a scene, Dr. Fenhill.
I am not making a scene.
What seems to be the Not without dispensation from Chief Junlei, I fear. Supplies are hard to come by out here. We don't have the ability to manufacture our own medical. Regrettably, we are dependent on the board for such mundane items as bandages and antibiotics. We'd nearly signed a supply agreement with Anti-Cleos, but they demanded we only use their branded drugs, and that's simply not tenable. Take care.
I'm sorry. Am I causing a... Furu? We could have avoided all this unpleasantness if you just let me talk to Jesse. Let me get one thing straight. Jessie and I are not friends. I just owe her. As for the rest, I'm trying to figure that out. All I know is that she's been here too long, and she's apparently not receiving visitors. Be my guest. If you know something I don't about dealing with hospital bureaucracy, I'll be impressed.
I got a full line of weapon modifications I'd be happy to show you. Why, it gets you the weapon best suited for your
Self-improvement, including one's weapons, is always a worthy endeavor.
Take your basic Deadeye assault rifle. Perfectly serviceable. But what if you like finesse? Slap a scope and silencer on that bad boy. Bunker down in a bush someplace and pop off heads. What if you like getting in close and making a lot of noise? extended ammo magazine, and a barrel heatsink to bump up rate of fire. No and yes. When you install something, it pops in there real nice, but if you want to replace it, the originals tend to snap like plastic toys. Right here for a start. I got a fair selection. Modified weapons are... A what? Sorry, hon. Here at Bell's Shells, we just don't discuss impolite topics, and WARRANTIES tops the list. So, what can...
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following.
Didn't the board rep's office used to be in the docking bays?
Rizzo's Purpleberry Fudge, a salt sour candy shell around a sweet purpleberry flavored center. Suck it, chew it, you can do it. CNP pancake mix now requires no mixing.
What's going on with you lately? You seem down.
Board patrol Nick.
Sublight salvage. Their front looks surprisingly on the up and up.
If you're hungry, you've come to the right They're terrified. You know what sprats are? Space rats. The laboratories of Spacer's Choice found a use for this. Sprat meat is plenty tasty when properly prepared. We grind them up in sausages, then Absolutely not. Spratwurst and all related terms are registered trade. Boar, the other meat, is a registered trademark of C&P. Terra Frying is a Spacer's Choice brand secret. A mix of 13 herbs and... Legally? No. The Terra Frying method was developed and marketed by Spacer's Choice. Between you, me, and this grinder, might be that this old space hand put a few words in the right ears, and could be that Spacer's Choice liked sticking it to C&P by R&Ding our own special meat. Just as well, near about time for me to go check on the trap. I mean, to unload another crate of farm... Fresh from the grinder, any hour.
You look like someone who's taken their share of cuts and bruises. Need some armor? Maybe it's a bit secondhand, but we also have a line of specialized melee weapons. Everything I sell is fresh from the forge. Technically...
Hearty greeting, potential customer. Welcome to this unit dispense protein. This unit is programmed to shock simulation on shock simulation restored. Initiating shocked subroutine. How dare you? Shocked subroutine complete. Estimated guilt level of customer increased by 30 for this unit dispense proteins. Beginning dispensing sequence. Please. All ingestible protein for this unit. Beginning dispensing sequence. Have you seen this man? Reward offered for information leading to the capture of noted
Go back to
terrorists.
Byzantium, you gold-plated
Report any
bastards.
sightings to your local board and-
Yeah, no one wants you on Groundbreaker.
These stairs are board property. First now, we'll detain you for trespass.
Ah, the board. Organized, efficient, competent. Well, mostly.
Ah, yes. Wheeler messaged me you were coming. He must be the captain of the Unreliable, a vessel that used to be helmed by one Alex Hawthorne. And you are not he. Has something happened to my favorite scruffy freelancer? I impounded Alex's ship, not yours. Well, I guess it's yours now if you're captaining it. I ask him to turn in Phineas Wells, he tells me he will soon. I impound his ship, he explains why he can't give me the info right now. I ask him to turn in Wells. Around and around we go. Right. You're going important places, I'm sure. Big, exciting, important places. There, I've removed the flag from your ship. I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience. However, before you go, Alex promised to tell me the location of Phineas Wells. I'm sure you've seen his wanted posters all over the colony. Did Alex tell you where Wells might be? Anything at all? Well, Alex knew, or he said he did. And you have his ship. Maybe he kept some records of... You haven't read the posters? He's a terrorist, a thief, a madman. That's... well, that's just terrible news. Law, what am I going to do now? The board will have my head. Oh, I'm sorry. This is terribly unprofessional. Be my... Chief Tennyson is deplorable. Oh, good law! Who'd want to go to that toxic hell pit? A luxury stateroom, reserved for Chairman Rockwell. Oh, good law, of course not. He'd never said... As this office is the primary... Ask... Be my guest. I'm the certified representative of the board's interests here on the Groundbreaker. Sometimes I take a break from sending messages to fluff the... Oh, you've noticed my friends. Wonderful. They're here to keep the peace, of course. Precisely. Groundbreaker makes much ado about its independent status and so resents any board presence, no matter how benign.
when the alternative is board guards at their gate. Ask